Last week, we saw a drama-filled opener in the 250 class.
What's going to happen? Let's get it started.
Oh, man, that was a pretty hard slam coming from behind and the long way around. Cincerella, he has just got some outright speed right now.
Oh!
Defending series champ Jeremy Martin outdueled Marvin Musquin for the overall win at round one.
A lot of talk about who would come out on top early in the year. First answer, Marvin Musquin. Jeremy Martin wins the moto and the overall at Hangtown.
In the premier class, Ken Roxon came in the opener with an ailing back and a determination to race to the front.
Certainly got to give him an A for effort for going out there this hurt. I mean, clearly he's dealing with some pain here.
Meanwhile, Eli Tomac put in a performance for the ages, crushing the field while capturing his second career victory.
He lapped into the top 10 of Moto 1. He dominates Moto 2. Eli Tomac leaving no doubt who the man is here at Hangtown.
Lucas Oil Pro Motocross races into Southern California. Round 2 is coming into your living room, live on MAV TV.
Well, Memorial Day weekend is a big one for motorsports everywhere, but these fans in Southern California believe they've found the best race in all the world. Glen Helen, one of the biggest and roughest motocross tracks anywhere, and it's the host for round 2 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing. It's the FMF Glen Helen National. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant, joined by multiple-time motocross and supercross champion Grant Langston here at Glen Helen. Fans are fired up. Round 1 last week at Hangtown was good, but a lot of riders believe things will be better here at round 2. So let's give you the big picture storylines we're going to be following here. First, a week ago at Hangtown, Jeremy Martin comes out defending that number 1 plate. Might not be that tough for him. He takes the overall win at the opener, but Marvin Musquin did tie him in points on the day, so it'll be a showdown between those two. Eli Tomac, though, no showdown at Hangtown for him. He absolutely dominated the field, won the second moto by a minute and a half. So everyone trying to close the gap up on him today. Rookies rising for sure at the opener. How about it? In both races, Chris Aldridge, 3rd place overall, 450 class, 3rd overall for Jason Anderson. So the new guys hoping to make some further inroads in the point standings today. So that's really the key here, Grant. We know what happened at Hangtown, but the opening round sometimes not realistic to the way the rest of the series plays out. Do you think some riders are going to step up today?
Well, Eli Tomac showed us that speed is something that he definitely has this season. I think that Ryan Dungey and the KTM crew went back and tried to work on some things, and I believe that gap will be a lot closer. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if Dungey was to go out and win today, but also great to see Ken Roxon. Apparently that back is much better. He's coming out. He looked fast in qualifying. He wants to win. So we got a 3-way battle, I think, and I think it'll be a lot closer than we saw last week. In the 250 class, Jeremy Martin, what can you say about him? The kid came out and shocked the world last year. Now we kind of expect it, and he went out and won again. But Marvin Musquin won that first moto. He won the Supercross Championship this year. I think he's fast, he's confident, he can step it up. And not to mention, the youngsters coming through. There's a lot of talent. I expect them to be on the podium and fighting for wins.
All right, big crowd, big racetrack, and a big field of contenders. We'll be getting to it in a moment, but first let's send it to Georgia Lindsay at the GoPro starting gate.
It's super exciting here on the start line at Glen Helen. Now, Alex Martin, so far this season, I mean the entire year has been a huge progress for you. 6th in qualifying today. Last week you almost made the podium. What big changes have you been making?
Yeah, nothing big. There's just been a lot of little things going on. I've been training a lot with my brother. Cycle Trader Rock River Yamaha team has been great. And I just feel comfortable on the bike. It's a good program, and just trying to keep up with little bro during the week, and it's paying off on the weekend.
Hey, it's not just little bro we're looking out for. This one, Alex Martin, I think we've got to keep an eye on you. So well done so far and good luck today. The other side of me, we have Adam Cincerillo, 7th in qualifying. First race back for a very long time for you last weekend. You showed your speed. You had a few crashes. However, you've got that out of the way now. Do you feel a bit more relaxed and confident coming into the second round of the season?
Definitely. You know, coming into the season, I wasn't quite sure where my speed was. So to know I'm at least competitive and up in the fight, it's a good feeling. But yeah, definitely looking to eliminate some of those mistakes. And yeah, just pretty happy I won 7th place in practice. I didn't get 7th, I won 7th. So pretty stoked.
Okay, well, I'll let you get back to that. Good luck. Thanks, Adam.
Final prep before our first moto of the day here at Glen Helen, the 250 class, Moto 1, coming your way.
Here, I got it already. It's loose.
Well, an unexpected plot twist here before we even started racing today. Jeremy Martin, major bike problems started as they rolled it out for the parade lap. I don't know if they're going to make it.
Well, he didn't even make it out for the parade lap. They've been working on the bike. We saw them change the fuel tank, and right underneath that is the electronic fuel injector. You know, so the fuel pump is attached to that. They switched it out. They try to fire it up. We see all the Yamaha guys around. We've got the Star Racing team. You see.
3 minutes is the signal back there. They have 3 minutes. They'll race. They'll start the race without him. And you only get 3 more minutes.
Is detrimental for the reigning champ, the championship leader, not to even be able to line up. This is huge, and they are scrambling. I've seen them change a couple things. It's a matter of series of elimination right now. They're trying to figure out what it could be by changing a few different things, but time is against them. This is not what these guys are planning on.
No, and it's, I'd say, about 2 minutes now to the gate drop, and if the gate drops, you have 1 lap to get back in the race. If they complete 1 lap, you're out. Let's give you the track map here, brought to you by Kawasaki, meanwhile, to show you what it's like here at Glen Helen.
Well, the start's been the same for a long time. It's a gradual, long climb up to that first bold turn, known now as the Talladega first turn. Drop back down to the lower part of the section, go past the motorsport.com. Hopefully you get the whole shot. Then up your first hill, way steeper than you could ever imagine. Past the Western Power Sports Fly section, drop back down, hard on the brakes here underneath the Lucas Oil Bridge, and then coming up a big hill of Mount St. Helen. You want to get the wheels on the ground of these rollers so you can drive up the hill. Some of the guys battling even do that little step up the top, turn around that beautiful big American flag, then you come back down the hill. It's going to get really rough. And then this part of the track, going to what they know as the canyon section, you really want to get over this step up. Now you drop back down, turn right down the hill. Couple of hills on the backside of this track. Really crucial to get in and out of these corners and keep that momentum.
See Jeremy Martin over there. Meanwhile, they're still working on the motorcycle. He's powerless at the moment, literally. They can't get it started. Go ahead, Grant.
To make the right here, and then this, one of the biggest, probably most enjoyable jump for the fans. Get that little bike whipped out over that triple step up into another big bold turn, and then we come down. This section has changed up a little bit from the track map. Got a couple more switchbacks, a little tighter, a little slower speed, and then you make the left, come over this roller, and this is basically your finish line straight away. A lot of rhythms.
Send it to Georgia. What's happening down there with Jeremy Martin?
As you can see, Jeremy Martin still keeping moving. They're putting the plastics back on the bike. They're putting the seat back on the bike. They've got about 5 mechanics working so hard right now. Jeremy's been standing there with his fingers crossed. And I said, dude, are you okay? And he's like, yep, that happens when you wash a bike sometimes. You know, like really good spirits, not freaking out at all. So they got the bike started right now. Oh no, right now they're trying to start it again, I'm afraid. This is going to be close, guys.
And the Fly Racing 30-second card is up. Now back in the day in motocross, you could hold your hand up on the line and give you an extra minute. It doesn't work that way anymore. The gate drops when the gate is scheduled to drop, no matter what happens. Shane McElrath, by the way, he is the Deltran battery tender, RC Hard Charger Award winner from our last race. He passed the most riders at Hangtown. Wants a better start today. Martin's not going to make it, kids. Wow. Huge break. Oh! Cincerillo down off the start. Big collision there at one of the Honda riders. Meanwhile, that's Jesse Nelson, who's out front and is going to have the Motorsport whole shot. All right, looks like Cincerillo is okay, but he is dead last. Well, actually not dead last because Jeremy Martin's not even in the race. So what an upset in the making already. 2 of the contenders, one's down and one's out.
Wow, that's, well, you know what? When someone's having a bad day, that means someone else has an opportunity. Oh, we see some of the riders taking banners there, but
Martin's back in it.
I saw them trying to bump start the bike, and look at this. It's just like he had a bad start now, but he's in the race. And Jeremy Martin, he showed the speed last year. I expect him to dissect this field pretty quick. I wouldn't be surprised to see him hovering around that podium finish by the end of this first moto. But if you're Marvin Muscat, now is your time to shine. He's got a good start. Some of his competitors are way back. Cincerillo's down. Unbelievably, Martin wasn't even on the start line. He's ahead of Cincerillo.
Yes.
But for Marvin Muscat, time to make up some points.
Unbelievable. And more riders down, so more spots. This looks more like one of those crazy beach races in Europe. Riders are down everywhere, passing in them in bunches. I'd say Martin's already gone past 10, 12 riders, and we're halfway through the first lap. He's going to get R.J. Hampshire here on the number 80, going to pass him also.
Well, the best time to make a lot of passes in the beginning because everyone's going all over the place. Left, right, guys are falling, so it's a lot easier to make 10, 20 passes in the beginning of the race. But you see things like that for Martin, you've got to be aggressive, but a little bit patient, because if you're impatient, that's when it leads to bigger issues and bigger problems. But he is just cutting through this field. Wouldn't be even surprise me if he was in the points by the end of the first lap, because as we look at time and scoring, things are changing drastically. Meanwhile, Kyle Peters is leading this race.
It's Nelson, and then Peters with straight on the screen here. We'll get it in a second once they cross the finish line of lap 1. The real question, they got the bike started and obviously running, but as you know, as a rider, there's nothing scarier than I thought the bike might stop running during the race. It doesn't just coast. If the bike cuts out at a jump, you're in big trouble. He doesn't seem worried, but we don't know for sure if they have this thing dialed.
As a rider, you got to put that behind you. Just believe that it's all going to be good, and that's a risk as an athlete. If something does happen, he could be the guy on the ground. But
Joey Savacci is now in the lead on this green number 37, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Or no, sorry, it's Nelson and Musquin in front of him. He is in third. They had gotten away just for a moment, so he is in the third place position. So it continues to be Nelson and Musquin, a pair of KTMs up front.
Nice ride for Jesse Nelson. He even said before Hangtown, you know, last year I was just kind of happy to be up there. I had some bad results, but now I expect to be up there. He's in Southern California, really close to where he grew up. And I know we got the Troy Lee boys up in the hill with their hospitality. They're going to be jumping up and down, really pumped for this guy. And of course, KTM, I heard a little birdie say that Troy Lee will be the official KTM factory team, and they're getting some factory support right now, and it's showing as Nelson leads us, and the actual factory rider that will be moving up at Marvin Musquin. Great opportunity for him here to take a big chunk out of that point situation. He's tied with Martin for the lead, but the way they run right now, he has an opportunity to take the outright lead in the points.
Yeah, so this Lucas Oil Troy Lee team was a Honda team for a long time. Switched to KTM this year. They do get factory support, but next year they're going to be the exclusive 250 team for KTM. At least that's what the rumor mill says. Let's show you. Third place back there is still Savacci. Hill, another KTM rider, is fourth. It's Justin Hill. Peters now back to fifth. Then it's Jordan Smith, Mitch Oldenburg, Alex Martin, and Matt Bisceglia. That's about your top 10 right now. Jeremy Martin, 21st. So you said he might get the points at the end of lap 1. One spot away. That's 19 riders in one lap that he passed.
Good for him. You never like to see a rider being taken out by a mechanical, but we heard George just say that Jeremy had said, these things happen sometimes when you wash bikes, which leads me to believe they recognize that water had gotten into the electronics. You got to remember, with these bikes being covered in mud, and the track's dried out a lot since practice. It was muddy this morning, so they have to go and pressure wash these bikes, and just sometimes it literally takes a drop of water just to get in one of those connections in the electronics, and it can create big problems. As you can see, when you got an electronic problem, the bike just does not run. But hopefully, with that said, if they got it fixed, I don't see a problem happening for Jeremy Martin. So there's a silver lining for Martin right now, is if it was water in the electronics, they switched out that, and he is riding it. Talk about a panic situation, but how about those Yamaha guys getting him on the start line? I thought he was done.
For sure. Musquin going after Nelson for the lead now. Get a little gap over Savacci, so it's going to be a one-on-one fight. Big downhill, and that is the signature feature of this track as they work their way up and down this mountain.
Let's see how this works. Marvin goes to the outside, a way longer way around, but able to jump up the hill and carry a little more momentum, so that gap will slowly shrink as it got the hill. He went from being almost 10 bike lengths behind coming out of that corner, but that extra slingshot from being on the outside really propelled him up that hill. And on these 250s, you need every ounce of horsepower to get up those hills. Trust me, these guys are wishing they had 10 more horsepower, no matter how fast your bike is.
Yeah, the hills are steep, and this dirt is so deep and heavy, it really bogs the bike down. Nelson doing everything he can to keep Musquin behind him. Nelson, not the opener at Hangtown that he wanted, said he crashed 3 times in the first moto, and then was running in third in Moto 2 and had a big crash and knocked Justin Bogle down with him. Bogle not racing with us today with an injury because of that. So Nelson trying to rebound today, leading but for how long? Musquin just looking for an opening. Here he goes on the outside again.
Marvin not following, doing the smart thing. He looks like he's got a little more pace than Nelson. Doesn't have to force the situation because if his mechanics give him good advice. Woo! Marvin really cutting that corner tight, squared it up, but Nelson just shuts the door. So now they switch lines again. Marvin really just searching right now, going wherever Nelson is, and he knows if he loses a bunch of time in one section, don't do it again, but he's side by side. Lines come back together.
Nelson got to the outside, but was able to hold it. Now this is a supercross type section here in front of the spectators, series of jumps and 180-degree corners. Musquin on the outside again.
Yeah, they've done a little track prep since practice, smoothed out some of those outside lines. Basically trying to create multiple line opportunities. And it's dried out a lot. They didn't even throw any water down. All that dark dirt and that moisture, that's from the rain we've had during the week. We didn't have a heavy rain here in Southern California, but for California, we got some rain in May. That's not very usual. Much needed rain, by the way. But for the track, it's really done well because the moisture's deep down, and they haven't had to flood it and make it sloppy and muddy on top. So this has turned out to be a great racing track. Marvin, see him having a look there. You know he's just trying to figure out the situation right now. He made a little run at Nelson, didn't quite get the job done. He's lost a few bike lengths, takes a look back. He just wants to know that the number one is not coming up. And as long as he doesn't see the number one closing in, he's going to, bide his time. Marvin's not an impatient rider. He's a very calculated rider. And I see him make another run at Nelson in a bit.
So Nelson continues to lead Jeremy Martin from bike problems now up to 16th. See how many points he can make up. Back with a great battle for the lead here at the FMF Glen Helen National. All right, let's get the KTM keys to the moto, Grant. What do you need to do here?
Well, changing track conditions. By that I mean we've had a lot of rain. The track is slowly drying out. This is the driest we've seen all day. Usually they throw water down before the race because of the heat and just for the dust. Secondly, hills are critical. Going up and down, you've got to get a drive up the hill, especially on these 250s. If you don't get the drive at the bottom, you can lose not tenths but seconds. And of course, Jeremy Martin, he's the X factor right now. Had some trouble before the moto even started. He's doing damage control, but for Marvin, this is a great opportunity. As we have a look at our motorsport.com whole shot replay, we see the...
Watch the 50 here in green.
Yeah, that's just a matter of bars tangling. See the guys getting their weight back, trying to get everything out of it. But when they come across, it's the number 28 of Jesse Nelson using that KTM horsepower. Savachi right behind him.
Yep. And there
clearly,
it is.
full bike length and a half. Marvin up there.
Kyle Peters was in it as well. Good job. He's still at number 6 spot on the GPI Honda. So Musquin still working on Nelson. Every time you think, oh, he's got him, Nelson figures out a way to hold him back. That's what I love about motocross, man. You just don't give up, keep fighting. Good things happen, and Nelson keeps on leading.
Oh, you never give up. That's one thing I'd beat into every aspiring kid's mind. Never, ever, ever give up. Anything can happen, especially in motor racing. It often does.
Yeah.
But, give Jesse Nelson some credit. If Marvin's fast enough, he would have passed him and taken off. But Jesse is riding at his pace. He's not been flustered. He hasn't made mistakes. Marvin's been searching, trying different lines. He gets right up on Nelson, then makes a mistake.
Oh, Chris Aldridge, who was third last week,
up on
makes
one
a
of those
mistake.
hills.
Yeah, he was in the top 10 here, and now he's dropping out of the top 20.
Look how hard it is to try and even get the bike turned around. You want to just slide and fall down the hill. So we've seen this battle up front. Nelson not making mistakes, riding his pace, and then Marvin catches up, loses a little bit, catches up, loses a little bit, but a lot of racing to go.
Let's send it to Georgia. What's happening down trackside?
Oh my goodness, has it been eventful so far. So going back to Jeremy Martin on that start line, I spoke to Richard Sterling and Eric Gass, both mechanics for the same team. They said they tore the bike down. It could have been the fuel pump or it could have been the kill switch, neither of which they're going to know until they tear that bike down when they get back to the pits and obviously get ready for Moto 2. But either way, Grant, if you've had a start of the race like that, does Jeremy have a little bit of doubt in his mind, like doubt that something may happen? How's he feeling right now?
A good point, Georgia. We were just kind of elaborating a little bit on that. It's a little bit in the back of the mind, but one of the good things for Martin right now, he's so focused on trying to pass people and worrying about the good things. Get points, move to the front, damage control, every point matters. I'm leading the points. You know, all those things go through your mind. So he's more focused on trying to get through these guys that he's quicker than and do damage control. Oh, a little mistake from Nelson.
Whoa, and Musquin runs into it. Side by side, bottom of the hill again, and Nelson keeps finding the right lines to hold Musquin at bay. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, he got a little cross-rutted going up the hill. And that's what I'm saying. These hills, they're steeper than they look, and they got rocks starting to jut out. And very easy for the bike to get unsettled. And Marvin almost had the opportunity, but Nelson able to shut that door. Marvin almost made a jump out of the inside of that mound at the top of the hill. Couldn't quite get it done. You see these guys both still trying different lines. Marvin keeps lurking, and you got to figure if he keeps the pressure on, you got to assume that he's going to get around Nelson. But maybe Jesse relaxes and gets used to the pressure and picks up the pace. And who knows? You just never know. This could be Nelson first one, but yes, Musquin, he's got the drive.
Oh, they come together, and again Nelson able to hold him off. And we're nearly halfway through this thing, so persistence so far. Nelson just not letting him have it, and he continues to hold the lead. And on the longer sections, you can see Savacci back there in third, Hill in fourth. They're not pulling away from them. So these two really get into it and will have a problem. That could be the advantage of to Savacci. He's back there in third, circulating still and keeping them in sight. Sent to Georgia again in the Fram Mechanics area.
We were looking at Marvin Musquin's lines there, and you're saying he doesn't take the same line as Jesse Nelson. I honestly think that's kind of a European style of his type of riding. As back in Europe, there's so many huge ruts, and he always seems to take that different line. It always looks like it's the longer line, like he's going for the outside there. However, he seems to catch up back on him. And I also was speaking with Jesse Nelson earlier on today, and he goes, Georgia, if you do a good job today, then I might actually do a good job. So maybe we're both doing a good job. We'll see.
Yeah, does it work in reverse? If he does a good job, is that guarantee? We'll see. Hey, we're halfway through this thing. 15 minutes down, 15 minutes to go. So I can remind you that in 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on your insurance with Geico. It's as close as it has been. I'm talking, this is basically, as our buddy Bevo would say, a 12-foot long KTM. It's just one bike practically in some of these corners as they go wheel to wheel. And still Nelson able to hold them off. So I can't figure it out. Is it a one-line track where everything Musquin's using doesn't work? Or is Nelson just doing a brilliant job of riding a wide bike?
You can pass on this track for sure.
Okay.
I think Marvin's not desperate enough yet to force the issue.
Okay.
And Jesse just hasn't really made the mistakes to open the door for Marvin. And he's running at a great enough pace that, like I said, Marvin does seem to be a little bit quicker, especially in certain sections. But overall, Jesse's leading this race, running great pace. But I guarantee you, when that clock hits zero and we see that 2-lap card, you'll start seeing these guys get a little impatient. Marvin probably getting a little impatient. He's eating a lot of roost. Look how much dirt he is as he's side by side.
Oh, here we go.
This is it. He scrubbed that jump. He looks like he's got the drive. Takes a look over. They go triple in, pulls a tail, double. Will he keep the inside? Marvin does. And he gets it done.
Yeah, and he had worked that line, what, 5 laps in a row?
The whole race.
What was the difference this time? It was just more commitment?
Well, he was closer going into that section when they split the lanes. Marvin really got in and out of that chicane real quick. So when they came up that jump, usually Jesse would take his line away and Marvin had to back off. But when they came up to that roller side by side, Marvin actually had a better opportunity to scrub it. The minute he got those wheels on the ground, he got the horsepower onto that Dunlop tire and just grabbed the, just enough to get ahead, and he had the inside go to the next corner.
It's like a game of chicken on the top of that wall jump before the finish. Who could get there first and block each other? Finally, Musquin was close enough to make it happen, and now he's starting to draw away from Nelson. Still, though, for Nelson, considering last week outside of the top 10 in both motos, trying to run in a podium position and leading some laps here, I think he'd consider that a victory. Here's our GoPro track preview on Adam Cincerillo from earlier.
Well, this is from practice, and you can tell the dirt is a lot darker, meaning it was wetter. This is going up the Western Power Sports Fly Racing hill. You turn, make the right, and then right here, you drop back down, back into the public. You hear Cincerillo, not on the throttle very much, a lot of just dragging those brakes. See all the moisture on the track, even basically mud puddles. Full throttle, go up the hill, everything you've got.
That's one of the coolest sections we'll see all year in motocross. It's motocross, and out here there are actions and reactions, risks and rewards, and 30 minutes feels like a lifetime. Anything can happen, but Lucas Oil Pro Motocross will be back next weekend, Thunder Valley in Lakewood, Colorado, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on MAV TV. Lots of things to do when you come to one of these motocross races leading up to the day. You get to watch practice, get autographs with your favorite riders, visit a lot of the companies in the pit area, but then it gets serious, and it certainly did for Jeremy Martin as this moto was beginning. They could not get the bike to continue running. They'd start it, it'd stall. They basically had the fire drill. Every mechanic of the Yamaha Star Racing Yamaha and some of the Yamaha factory folks trying to get that thing together, and it worked. Jeremy Martin, as the gate dropped, he pulled out a few seconds later, got onto the track. He is now in 10th place. He started 39th. And we'll show you the scramble. There it is. That's the mechanic, Richard Sterling, trying to get the thing firing. This is after they'd taken the gas tank off. They'd switched out some of the electronics. Bike still doesn't have a seat on it. They had to refill the gas tank because they put a fresh one on there.
Yeah, that's when they switched out, when we thought might have been a fuel pump issue. And this was him going to the line.
And you can hear the bikes taking off at that point. Yep. And now he has closed on his teammate, Aaron Plessinger. This will be for 9th place. So while they were starting the bike for the final time, the field had already left the starting gate. So he started, what, 15, 20 seconds behind everyone, and now he's into 9th place.
Oh, that was a nice teammate move. I think Plessinger knows who the team leader is and who's got the speed. If you're Aaron Plessinger, latch on to the #1 and the reigning champion and the points leader and see if you can hang with him, because guess what? He'll tow you through to the front as well if you can.
He's got riders right in front of him. Jordan Smith, Mitchell Oldenburg, so he could potentially start knocking on the door of the top 5 before this race is over.
Well, I said before, and if he can get going, he might be able to get a podium or be knocking on that door. So it wouldn't shock me because, oh, and another cuts it up the inside. Has he got it? Yep.
He does. Jordan Smith in the 126 loses a spot.
That was just pure commitment. Martin went over that jump, whipped that thing over, had it landed on the gas, and he is going forward in a hurry. And he is riding as well as we've ever seen him. Last year he shocked us when he did this. Now we expect it, and he is just going for it. And sometimes for a kid like this is maybe what almost he needed, just to prove to himself, you know what, I didn't even line up, and I still came through and got a, you know, whatever, wherever he finishes, a solid points finish. Oh, you don't want to blow it right now. He's got a good pace going. There's still just under 7 minutes plus 2 more laps, so we're talking 13 minutes of this race to go, and with the pace he's got, top 5 is not that far, because look, Matt Michaelia is in 5th place, 28 seconds off the leader, but Jeremy Martin is now in 8th place. He's only 37, so we're talking 9 seconds to 5th place. There's a big gap to get to Josh Hill in 4th, but I think Jeremy Martin's got 5th place locked up right now if he doesn't make any major mistakes.
All right, so he's working on Oldenburg, who is now on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda team. He's the replacement for the injured Darren Durham. Only his 2nd race with this team, a good run for him. He lives in Texas, and he's 7th with Martin right behind him. In front of Oldenburg is Kyle Peters. Then Matt Michaelia 5th. And that's the position that we're thinking that Martin might be able to get to. Maybe 5th place in this moto, which would just be an incredible salvage job. By the way, Martin's teammate Cooper Webb not racing this weekend. Hurt his ankle in our 2nd moto a week ago and was not able to go today. Here he goes to the inside of Oldenburg. Oldenburg's going to fight him for it.
So now Martin goes to the outside, but I think he'll get it done right here because he's got the inside. Martin gets it done. I mean, he is just charging. This is a sign of a guy that wants to defend that title. He's not going to give up at any inch. Jesse Nelson still having a fantastic ride. Hold on a second, but
he's got company.
Don't look over your shoulder. Sabachi
and Hill. And this is a big bounce back for Hill, who had a rough Supercross season, and then some mechanical problems in our first moto last week at Hangtown. Did get in the top 10 in Moto 2, but these guys are going to fight for the podium.
It's going to be a
Two of these three are going to the podium. Who's going to be?
Watch the line selection. See, the inside gives you such an advantage till there. Now watch the outside line really catch up. Little bobble there.
Nelson.
Now they're going to come over the hill almost side by side. So I do believe the outside's a little bit quicker, but when you're ahead of someone, there's no way you're going to go to the outside. It's way out there. And if a guy comes to the inside, he can chop you off, basically make the pass and chop you off on the uphill when you're trying to come back with the momentum. So I definitely wouldn't. I would rather be the hunter than the hunted right now.
Well, Nelson does have some experience with it, though. He spent the first 15 minutes of the moto holding Muscat off. So we'll see if he can run the defense on Savacci and Hill again. And Savacci and Hill, by the way, have been about this close the whole race. And them pushing each other has allowed them to get to Nelson. Hill almost had an opening.
Savacci made a little mistake, a little bit like Nelson did when Muscat almost got him, but able to hold it off. So nice comeback ride for Justin Hill. I expected more from him last week. He had a disastrous start, not able to continue in the first moto. Second moto, decent result, but by his standards, he's even said, I want to be on the podium. And to be honest, that's where I think I and many other people expect him to be. Now with a decent start, he's running the pace, he knows his track, and well, we got second, third, and fourth. You can almost throw a blanket over them.
Yeah, it is wheel to wheel. Like I said, two of these three riders are going to make the podium. Just what the order is going to be. Bisceglia would be the next rider in line, 5th. Jeremy Martin, 6th. Peter, 7th. Oldenburg, 8th. Plessinger, 9th. And Jordan Smith rounds out your top 10. Marvin Musquin getting away from this battle. It's a good one for second. Big battle on our hands here for third place. I want to remind everyone of the Dave Despain Show here on MAV TV, where you can get an in-depth look at racing legends and heroes. Dave Despain Show presented by Carlisle Tools, Sunday at 11 Eastern and Pacific on MAV TV Motorsports Network. So Justin Hill on the orange number 32, able to get around Joey Savacci. That puts him into third. They've been fighting this entire race. 30 minutes at this point.
Yeah.
So now Hill in a podium position. He wants more. Jesse Nelson just up ahead of him in second.
Well, what a first moto that'd be for the Red Bull KTM squad. A 1-2. Musquin just keeps edging out that gap. We look at the lap times. His last lap time, a 2:26. Jesse Nelson, 2:28. But it was just over a second, actually, because Musquin's was a 26.9 and Nelson's 28 flat. So just over a second. But Justin Hill seems to be picking up some ground. He was a 26.5. Fastest guy on the track that last lap. Got around Savacci. Now he comes down the hill. This is that split section. Nelson will come out with the lead, but he's got less drive. Hill's able to launch this jump and carry more speed up the long hill. One little bobble from Nelson. He'll open that door for Hill, or has he? Oh, Hill had to back out the last second there. Their lines almost come together.
Nelson takes a look over his shoulder, I think just trying to figure out who he's fighting with. Now he knows it's Hill. So it's a KTM 1-2-3 at the moment, with Musquin long gone with a 9-second lead up front. And Jeremy Martin, by the way, is in 5th place now. He has made the passes on Peters and Bisceglia. We already saw him get Oldenburg.
Which is actually incredible.
Yeah,
but
35 passes in one race.
But the problem now is what I said earlier. I think he's stuck in 5th because to basically gain another position, he's got to catch up. Savacci, 22 seconds. Not going to happen without a crash from Savacci or someone. But either way, Martin gets a 5th. That's basically 16 points. That's a lot better than 0. And it's not that far off 25 for a maximum points win in the moto. Really, really important for him, for the team, for everything. But this battle continues. These guys know each other. They're friends. But right now, they're not going to be friends.
No.
Nelson wants that second, and Hill's got that lined out. That's exactly what he did to Savacci. I don't know if we caught it from the commercial break last time around, but that's how he set up his pass just a lap ago. So Justin Hill. How about Roger DaCosta? He's got to just be smiling from ear to ear right now. His boys are 1 and 2. And they took the 2-lap card, so now a little under 2 laps to go. No major mistakes, and they're going to have a 1-2. Huge accomplishment.
Well, he'll look frisky all day today in practice. He was the fastest on the lap chart in the first session and also a lot of the second session. Didn't end up fastest overall. Jeremy Martin did get that Bud Light Fast Qualifying Award, but Hill definitely showed a little more speed than he did last week at Hangtown and using it to get the second. Savacci's still fighting in 4th. And this is the gap back to Savacci 4th and Martin 5th, and this is why we think that charge is going to stall. Just too much distance. Man, he still hasn't come through that section. But he's not going to complain about this. The 40 riders are supposed to be on the gate. 39 of them take off. You're left on the starting line area while your bike just fires. Come all the way back to 5th. That's one of the most impressive charges I've ever seen.
Well, we kind of expected that from someone like Jeremy Martin. He's given us no reason why he couldn't do something like this. Last year we may have been shocked, you know, if this was, you know, a year ago. But after his performance last year when he dominated both motos and basically had control of this championship and the series pretty much from this round. Glen Helen was the opening round last year. This year was Hangtown in Sacramento. But this is round 2. But for Martin, this is huge because he's going to get 16 valuable points as long as he stays on this position. And you know what? If someone bobbles in front of him, guess what? That's another 2 more points. Gives him a chance to go out second moto. You win that moto, you're guaranteed a podium overall finish. And that is what we call damage control. Minimize it, move on to the next round. He's going to look at it and go, hey, I could have or I should have won that race. I didn't, but it wasn't my fault.
This final podium spot still up for grabs. Savacci on the green bike, not letting the 28 of Nelson go, and now Nelson has lap traffic to deal with. I'll tell you, Nelson has been in a battle every inch of this one. First half of the race dealing with Musquin, then dealing with Hill, now dealing with Savacci.
But Nelson's dealt with the pressure very well. He hasn't really changed up his riding that much. He's using the same lines. But
speaking of same lines, Savacci used the same line that Hill used to pass him, to pass Nelson. And with a lap to go, it looks like that KTM sweep might have been broken up. They're 1-2, but third place now the Kawasaki of Savacci.
I think Savacci took a page out of Justin Hill's page because that's how he got past. So he figured, hey, you know what? I square that corner up and just give it a handful of gas and put the bike in the way because it's kind of like a double left little sweeper over 2 rollers there. But Musquin takes a little glance over at his mechanic Frankie. He sees, hey, last lap, 9-second lead. In other words, that's you know, personal lingo for don't blow it. Just keep it on 2 wheels. You got this. Marvin, I assume, has got this in the bag, but behind him, Hill cannot relax because behind him he's got Savacci and Nelson coming, and they're keeping the pressure on. But what a great start to the weekend for the whole Red Bull KTM team. Running 1-2. You only have 2 riders on your squad, so you couldn't do any better than this. I mean, we've seen Mitch Payton have some luck where he swept the podium before, but that was with 4 guys. A lot of KTMs in the top 10, and I gotta give a shout out to Jeremy Martin. He did what we somewhat expected. Look at his best lap, a 2:24. His last lap was a 2:25. Fastest guy on the track. He is running. So in other words, he doesn't have the fastest lap because he was in traffic at the beginning of the race when the track's at its prime, when you get those fast lap times. But since then, he's still running basically the same lap times, and he is quicker than anyone. I'll give you a heads up. Musquin last lap. Okay, he's toned it down, but at 2:28. 3 seconds almost difference. So Martin's got the pace, which makes me excited for the second moto because we want to see, when you see 2 fast guys, you'd love to see them together on the track and have a good old brawl and duke it out for the win.
Yeah, we haven't really seen it. They offset each other with good starts in the 2 motos last weekend, and then obviously 2 different types of starts in this one. Musquin up front early, started 3rd, and Martin way in the back. Adam Cianciarulo, by the way, who was down about 50 feet out of the gate. So Martin must have actually blasted past him while Cianciarulo was still on the ground. He has climbed up to 12th. So a pretty good comeback there by normal standards. Just an absolutely incredible comeback by Martin. But an even better performance up front because Marvin Musquin has won the first moto at Glen Helen. And for good measure, his teammate Justin Hill finishes 2nd. Savacci going to hold off Nelson. And although Musquin wins this one, he's got to be excited. I would feel that if you're Hill taking 2nd, that's got to feel almost just as good. He needed to get the train on the tracks, and he does it in the first moto today. Good battle between these 2 for the podium. You see Nelson shaking the head. He won 3rd. Back in the dirt of Glen Helen, what a dramatic first moto we've just completed. We'll show you in the Lucas Oil race recap. This is the 250 class, and your 250 defending champion, Jeremy Martin, who was also the Bud Light Fast Qualifier this morning, the bike won't start. So the team is trying to get the thing fixed. Talking to some of the officials there. Now, you hear in the background, listen to the engines. That's the rest of the field taking off. Now they're going to bump start the bike. They push it, he jams it into gear. The bike finally fires. Now, this is what happened while the gate was dropping. Adam Cincerillo in the green bike gets plowed, runs into Alex Martin and a few others. He crashes as he's getting his bike up. Jeremy Martin, who did get his bike started, gets into the race and then goes to work from next to last. Up front, Jesse Nelson on 28, 25 of Marvin Musquin. Great battle for the #1 spot. Entire first half of the race, they went at it. Finally, Musquin able to secure the lead, and from there, he would go on to a dominant victory. Second moto win of the year for him. Good battle behind him for the podium, but first, let's catch up with our winner, who's with Georgia.
Yes, of course, the 25 of Marvin Musquin. Marvin, wow, that was a battle. You must have expended some energy with Jesse there, taking that battle. You said your stomach hurts a bit, but you still won, so, you know, you must be pleased.
Oh yeah, really pleased with that first moto. Track is awesome. Weather is perfect. It's not hot, it's not cold, it's perfect. It's a little cloudy, so dirt is awesome. It's getting rough, so and ready. Didn't get the start that I wanted, but decent. I fight through the first turn to get into a good position, and man, I'm happy. If you compare it today, then last year when I came back from my knee injury, oh man, I feel so much better right now. So it feels good to win here. Only the first moto though, but to win in Glen Helen, and it's going to be a good second moto. There's good riders behind me, and got to get a good start and fight for the first place.
Perfect. Thank you, Marvin.
And here are your results from that first moto. So Jeremy Martin, who could not even get the bike running until after the race had started, comes all the way back from 40th to 5th. Good run by Mitchell Oldenburg up inside the top 10. Kyle Peters also 7th. That's solid. And we'll send it back to Georgia.
Yes, we have Justin Hill. Now, Justin, last week was not the best week for you. You had to pull in mechanics area. You had a problem with your front brake. However, on the podium for the first moto, how do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good about it, you know. Yeah, like you said, I didn't have the best of weekends last time, so I feel like this was a little bit of redemption. I had great times in practice. You know, me and Jeremy battled back and forth for the top spot in practice, so it just gave me a lot of confidence. I knew I had the speed today, so I just needed a good start, which I didn't quite get. But you know, we worked up through. It's a tough track to pass on, but the weather's perfect, and I'm excited for second moto.
Well, good luck to that good start there, Justin. Well done. The other side of me, we have the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider. We do. Congratulations, being up here in that first moto. It's been a tough time, Joey, and how are you feeling with that?
No, it's good. First practice was all right. Ended up 7th, but second practice we went out and actually had a little bit of an issue. Wasn't able to run second practice at all, so we ended up qualifying 20th. So 20th gate pick. Didn't make it easy on me, but my Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki got me off to a great start. We were actually battling for the whole shot, and then went a little wide in the second turn, and a few guys got around me, but Jesse and Marvin were riding great. They were kind of able to score it away from me there at the beginning, but I was able to kind of catch back up and get into that battle, and then Justin got me. And I saw what Justin move put on me. I saw the move he did, so I waited until I got close enough to Jesse, and it was an identical move that Justin put on me, I put on Jesse. So overall, it's good. You know, it's only the first moto, it's not the overall, but to be able to put my Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki up here, it's a great feeling.
Well, awesome. Best of luck for the next moto. It's great to see these rookies coming through the pack.
And second motos today will be on NBCSN, so we'll see if Savachi or Hill can maybe even get an overall victory. They're certainly in contention for it. And we'll send it back to Georgia with the man who had the craziest first moto of anyone. Georgia?
Oh my goodness gracious me, Jeremy. Now, I was down there with you the entire time that everything happened. You stood calm, collected, the bike started, it cut out. Started, cut out. They're playing with everything. You jumped on the track, came through the pack, put in unbelievable lap times. What has been going through your head that entire moto?
Damage control. You know, the team was doing a great job. I wasn't even nervous on the line. I was making sure I stayed warm. It's pretty cold here today. Wish it was a little hotter so more people would have faded, but it is what it is. We're just going to line up for Moto 2. I'll be on the starting gate this time with those guys, so that's a bonus. And, you know, we're going to go out there and give it all we got.
Cool, calm, and collected, Jeremy. Congratulations on that 5th place. That was amazing.
All right, he's about a minute away from not even getting into that race and not scoring any points. Instead, he scores 5th. Big boys, 450 class next.